So I'm someone who likes to be as productive as the next guy, and anything that makes my life a bit easier or a bit more efficient, I'm always quite interested in. And so for that reason, I've actually wanted the MX Keys and Master 3 set for a while now, because it's kind of marketed as the ultimate productivity keyboard and mouse for particularly creative people. And finally, several weeks ago, I got a set which replaced my old 12-year-old keyboard and mouse. But the interesting thing is that it's kind of made me think about what motivates me and what makes me more productive. So in today's video, I'm going to try and answer the question, does the MX Master 3 and the MX Keys make me more productive? If you're new here, my name is Nick, and here we talk about how to use tech to improve your life. I put out videos every Friday, so be sure to subscribe. So first up, I thought I'd just talk a little bit about the features and the design of the keyboard and the mouse. So starting off with the keys, like I said, it's wireless. It's Bluetooth, doesn't need a dongle, which is great. I really didn't want a keyboard and mouse that needed a dongle just because I wanted that extra USB port free, which is handy. The keys are also backlit, which I really like. It's pretty handy because my office is pretty dark most of the time, and in the evenings I'll just have my lamp on. It's also cool because it's got a motion sensor, so when you stop typing on the keyboard, the backlight will turn itself off, and then as soon as you put your hand over the keys or you start typing, it will instantly turn the backlight back on, and this just helps to save the battery life. Another cool feature of the MX Keys is that you can connect it to multiple devices. So I've got it connected to my MacBook Pro, my iPad, and then I've also got it connected to my wife's laptop if I ever need to use her laptop. And lastly, it's USB-C charged, and I'm a big fan of USB-C. Anything that's USB-C compatible is great because it just means I don't have to have as many cables, and therefore helps me to reduce clutter and just makes life easier in general. So the MX Master 3 mouse has got a pretty cool ergonomic looking design. I think I've got kind of medium to large sized hands, and it feels like a pretty good fit for my hand. It feels really comfortable to hold. It's got kind of a rubbery matte texture, which is really nice. It's also got quite a range of buttons. It's got a button under your thumb, which you can click. Got two more buttons next to your thumb, and then a scroll wheel above that. And then you've got your regular scroll wheel in the middle, as well as another button above that. And each of these buttons you can pretty much fully customize to whatever you want. And you can also customize them based on the app that you're using, which I think is pretty cool. The mouse is also USB-C charged, which is great, and it's got the USB-C port right in the front, so you can use the mouse while you're charging it, unlike the Apple Magic Mouse, which has the charging port on the bottom of the mouse, so you can't use it while you're charging it, which to me is pretty ridiculous. And you can also connect the Master 3 to up to 3 different devices and switch between them just with the click of a button on the bottom of the mouse, which is also pretty cool. So now that we've got the basic features out of the way, I wanted the keyboard and mouse kind of for 2 reasons. And the first was less clutter, and the second was to be more productive. Now in terms of creating less clutter, it's definitely done the job. Moving from my old keyboard and mouse, which had really long cables all over my desk, to having fully wireless Bluetooth keyboard and mouse with no cabling is amazing. I absolutely love it. Feels so nice having my desk so much more clear and free of cabling, and the fact that I don't even need a receiver dongle for the keyboard and mouse is a big plus for me. And then the second reason why I wanted it is to be more productive, because I like to make YouTube videos on a regular basis, as well as do other bits and pieces including freelance work, and so I'd hoped that it would help me get more stuff done. Now Logitech markets the keyboard and mouse as helping you to be more productive through particular features that are included. For example, like I mentioned, you can switch between devices really easily with the shortcut keys on the keyboard and on the mouse. And you can even copy and paste documents and files and text between different computers with the MX Master 3. However, I pretty much never use any other devices with my keyboard and mouse apart from my MacBook Pro. I rarely use it with my iPad, and I almost never use it with my wife's laptop. So to be honest, that feature is kind of useless for me. Even if this keyboard and mouse didn't have that feature at all, I probably wouldn't miss it, to be honest. Now the next way that Logitech markets the keyboard and mouse to help you be more productive is through keyboard shortcuts and the extra buttons on the mouse. However, I pretty much only use one extra button, which is this button on the side here, which I click, and it's basically a shortcut to view all the windows that you have open at once on your laptop, and that is pretty handy. I'll click it and I can quickly switch to another app. But apart from that, all the other shortcut keys and extra buttons I don't really use. And so at the end of the day, I kind of use this $300 keyboard and mouse set exactly the same as I use my old, probably worth $10 now, my old keyboard and mouse set. So do they really help me to be any more productive? I think the short answer for me, to be honest, is no. The extended answer is a little bit. But that's where I was kind of surprised. It's kind of two things for me. The first is, to be honest, the feeling of the keyboard itself. Typing on the keys is actually super satisfying. It's such a nice feeling keyboard. And the fact that it feels so nice actually kind of makes me want to type more. It makes me want to use the keyboard more just because it feels so nice and satisfying. It's kind of like watching those super satisfying videos on Facebook, but in a keyboard form. Like, it feels really satisfying typing on the keys. And so in that sense, it helps me to be just a little bit more motivated to come into my office and do some work because it feels nice. But the second and kind of bigger aspect, which ties into that as well, is I think it's kind of a mental thing about having a really nice keyboard and mouse makes me want to use it more regularly. It's kind of like when I upgraded my camera from an entry-level Canon, which didn't have a whole lot of video features, to this Sony a6600, which has like 4K and can shoot in S-Log, and it's got a really nice lens. It's not that I can shoot any more video on this camera than I could on my Canon. It's just that it's kind of nicer to use, and the videos that I can make are a bit better. And that in and of itself motivates me to make more. And so I think in the same way with the keyboard and mouse, even though I'm not really using it any differently than I would a really cheap $10 keyboard and mouse set, it's just the fact that it's a really nice set that looks great, feels great, and is kind of expensive, that I think makes me want to just use it more. And so it doesn't really make me more productive as much as it just gives me a little bit more motivation to keep doing what I'm doing. And so I guess the kind of broader point that I'm trying to make with this kind of philosophical tangent I'm going on with about a keyboard and mouse is just that I think I've realized about myself, it's not so much about the gear that I have that will make me more productive. It's more about, am I motivated to be productive in the first place? Because I think if I wasn't motivated to make videos or to do freelance work, I could have the nicest keyboard in the entire world and it still wouldn't really make a difference. And so I think in that sense, it's kind of changed how I think about gear and tech when it comes to being more productive. I think for me, it's less about having the most productive, efficient gear that I can possibly buy, and more about having the right attitude and mindset when it comes to getting things done and the reason why I want to get things done. So I hope that makes sense. It's kind of a weird tangent to go on from a tech video about a keyboard and mouse. But if you enjoyed it, feel free to hit the like button. Make sure you check out my productivity tech playlist if you're interested in more productive tech videos. And other than that, I hope you have an amazing day today, and I'll see you next week in the next video.